Hello, everyone, and welcome to FTC for SolidWorks. Happy kickoff, everybody, by the way, with the Power Play game coming in. We're so excited to see what awesome designs you teams are going to be coming up with. But we're going to be talking FTC for SolidWorks and 3D solid modeling and why it's so important for FTC teams to be looking at doing 3D solid modeling as well. So I want to introduce my guests for this evening. We have Marie from SolidWorks.
Really excited to be with you tonight, Tyler.
And we're delighted to have you. Thank you so much, Marie. Marie's going to be going through some different things about SolidWorks as well, too, so can't wait to hear more about that. And coming in from Team 6055, by the way, we have Tim and Ken. Welcome to both of you. Thanks for coming on. You're going to be showing off more about your robot. Tell us about yourselves a little bit.
So I am a senior in high school currently and the Geartix mechanical captain. As you probably may have guessed, we use a lot of SolidWorks, so that's probably one of my daily open programs on my computer.
And I'm Tim. I'm a mentor for the Geartix, and we've been around for a long time, more than 10 years, and we're excited for another new season. Very exciting kickoff, very exciting game.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you guys excited for Power Play? What do you think of the game?
Oh, it's really different.
Yeah, I think that this year having a good drive strategy is going to be incredibly important.
This video on First Updates Now is made possible by viewers like you and also the following sponsors. SolidWorks brings a full suite of options that are free for first teams to download, including SolidWorks Cloud CAD Apps for any device with a browser, and SolidWorks for Windows, where you can connect SolidWorks to the cloud for collaborating and managing data. Get it all for free at solidworks.com/first. Stryker's commitment to medical device technology innovation has made it a top career destination for those in First. First alumni and mentors are given top priority in their internship and career application. Come create the next medical innovation that saves lives at careers.stryker.com. Well, we're going to be showing off the robot that you created in the past as well, too. But before we get to that, let's head over to Marie, talk a little bit more about SolidWorks and why your team should be considering using 3D solid modeling, and in particular SolidWorks, Marie.
Thank you, Tyler. All right, I'm going to jump right in. SolidWorks sponsorship is all about our partnership with First. And this year we are supplying SolidWorks Desktop, which runs on a Windows-based PC, and SolidWorks Cloud CAD Apps that are design apps that run on Mac, Chromebook, tablets, and mobile. Tyler, if you could go next slide, please. So I know there's a lot of brand new kids out there, and I just want to tell you all, what is SolidWorks? SolidWorks is the software product designers use to create sketches, parts, assemblies, and drawings. And they use these things to create products. Could be your eyeglasses, could be robot components, could be prosthetics, could be big industrial machinery. Engineers and designers out there use SolidWorks. With our desktop offering, we give students everything that SolidWorks has pretty much, which includes electrical design, simulation, if you're into physics and want to know forces on that robot arm, computer-aided manufacturing, Composer, which is our assembly instructions, and our visual applications. Again, SolidWorks Desktop runs on a Windows-based PC, 64-bit, and I know we have a lot of teams out there that need Windows CAD design software. Next slide, Tyler. I want to give people a little bit about how do you begin? What is this all about? Because everybody out there has used a pencil. You may have used some other design tools. You've drawn, maybe you've even taken a geometry class. It all begins with a sketch. You got to pick a plane to determine your orientation. You're going to draw a good sketch that is located at the origin with dimensions. We always say black is good. The origin is your friend, so you know where you are in space. And then you're going to add features to either add geometry or remove geometry. And while you're going about it, you want to think about symmetry. Robot frames with wheels are very symmetrical, and that's something we want to take advantage of when it comes to using SolidWorks. Next slide, please, Tyler. And let's talk about my favorite option, which a lot of teams don't know about, and that is the design library. If you take a look at the arrow where you can add file locations, download all those zip components from Robotics or your other robot manufacturer like Tetrix. You might have parts from AndyMark. You can put these desktop components all in a folder and drag them into your assembly, because you don't want to make a part if it's a purchased part. You want to think about, if you got some design shortages or you want to go with your own custom parts, those are the type of parts you want to concentrate on. And in some cases, you just might be able to take a purchase part, add a few holes, and get exactly what you're looking for. But don't forget the design library when you go through. And let's go into the next slide, Tyler. So, what is this thing I've been talking about on Chief Delphi and a whole bunch of blogs called SolidWorks Cloud CAD Apps? Just as important as SolidWorks Desktop and why there are 6 million people using it is also the fact that there is new hardware out there. And that hardware is dictating where teams have Chromebooks and Macs, and they don't have Windows PCs or Windows PCs at 64-bit that are kind of pretty beefy, right? So we want to introduce our browser-based design apps that are 100% cloud to teams. Now, these apps require a browser. There's a lot of apps that are in them. You can think of them as apps on your phone, separate apps to do different tasks. The one I'm showing here is XDesign, which is very prismatic shapes. We also have a library of parts, again, that works very similar in assemblies like it does in SolidWorks, but it's definitely something to check out if you are hardware dependent. Next slide.
No, Maria, I do want to ask too, is that it says student community and wiki, but this isn't just meant for students, right? Anybody in FIRST, any mentors can join it as well?
That is right. The student community in Wiki, anyone can join. It is a public community. And this is where we have our kit of parts, Tyler. But let's say you got a question just about design, gear ratios. This student community, and I got to say, COVID hit us hard, right? It hit a lot of teams hard. We were not ready to support the teams in the cloud over the COVID years, but we are now, and this community is amazing. We have R&D engineers here. We have members from our SolidWorks community, our user groups, leaders all around the world that chime in and help out students in the design process. We will also be using this, Tyler, to put our videos on how to onboard teams a little bit easier.
I look forward to seeing that. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I think it's great. And now you get to look at what students are doing all around the world, right? And interact with our R&D team. That's what's so amazing. All right, let's talk about, well, what do I do now? How do I learn all this? Okay, learning CAD, we know that there are a lot of students out there, a lot of mentors that got to learn independently. So we have taken our professional learning content, the content that we give our customers, and we have allowed students to get access to it through the SolidWorks serial number you're going to get in sponsorship, and also in the cloud apps. Right inside of the cloud app first dashboard, you're going to have access to hundreds and hundreds of lessons. And this is not just CAD, okay? The tools that we're giving you in the cloud involve generative design, where you can go through design iterations, artificial intelligence to help you think about this design if you can remove material, which is so important if you're doing additive manufacturing in a 3D printer or subtractive manufacturing. You want to kind of know what you're doing and what this part is going to look like before you go forward. Lots of lessons, really excited. Next slide, please. So now I got to ask, there's people out there that are thinking, SolidWorks, how do I manage my data? In the past, we have had PDM Works, PDM standard that allowed you, if you had a Windows-based server, to manage data. But if you connect the cloud apps with SolidWorks Desktop, thanks to this new platform, actually it's been around for 15 years by Dassault Systems, you now can take your SolidWorks robot, save all your data to the cloud, manage revision, manage if it's checked in, checked out, but we use terms like in work. I think it's going to be really exciting for teams that have been using SolidWorks to look at how to manage their data. And the last slide I have, that before I turn it over to Tim and Ken, I want to talk about something really exciting that I was speaking with a mentor, Robbie, yesterday. Why, Robbie, would teams want to use XShape? Well, one thing I know, Tyler, is teams have great mascots. And whether you have a dragon like this one, or a hornet, or a puppy dog as your mascot, my colleague Jason Poole, an amazing industrial designer, designed this dragon with teeth. Then that was in the cloud app XShape. It's like digital clay. You push and pull. Can't do that kind of thing with SolidWorks. You then go into SolidWorks Desktop, add a few bosses where you're going to stick in your screws and mount it to a chassis that my colleague Sean O'Neill did, and then put it in beautiful photo view. So you get these beautiful shiny renderings, and then 3D print. We got a lot of tools to give teams. This is all free. It is the same tools that our commercial customers use. We didn't water it down. And now the team with the best blue hair, I'm going to turn it over to Ken and Tim.
One thing I want to ask real quick, Marie, too, is that just so I understand, right? So, I grew up with SolidWorks is just a desktop application. So teams get a choice now, right? They can either do SolidWorks for desktop, then they can also connect to the cloud for their files, or they can choose straight going through the CAD no matter what, right? Or through the cloud no matter
correct.
what.
100% cloud. I realize that there are teams out there that don't have Windows-based machines, and they have a good web browser. They have great internet. And then I was talking to a team on Thursday in somewhere in the middle of Mississippi. They have no internet, right? And they got some Windows-based machines thanks to their mentor that's a SolidWorks customer. So, the whole idea is flexibility. We know teams need flexibility. And if you don't have cloud access, we want to make sure you have some sort of CAD tool.
That's awesome to hear, and looking forward to seeing what FTC teams try out SolidWorks for the first time. We can only talk about robots so much until we show one, right? So, of course, we have 6055 here to show off what they've done through SolidWorks with their prior robot as well. So, Tim and Ken, tell us more about how you've utilized SolidWorks, of course, the robot in front of us, and let us know more about it.
So this robot here is last year Freight Frenzy robot. We chose to show off this robot because it's arguably one of our more open concept design robots, where you can far more easily see all the components compared to some of the more densely packed robots we have. The way our sort of design flow works is, instead of usually we're gonna build some Actibonics, build some GoBuilder first, we're gonna usually design something in SolidWorks first before we're doing anything else, really. And that's a unique part of our process, because we really love digital manufacturing with our 3D printing, laser cutting, CNC. And it gives us the ability to utilize those tools right from the start, instead of having to build something first, figure out, don't know if this is going to be the right thing. Versus with SolidWorks, we can shape it, we can put the blocks or cones or whatever in the model, see that it will most likely work, and then laser cut it, 3D print it, and have a very good chance of it working.
So let me ask you, Ken, from your team and you personally, what was it like learning to use SolidWorks, and how difficult was it for your team to adapt and utilize for FTC?
So one thing that's really great about SolidWorks is that it has baked-in tutorials. You just press the help button, and there's a lot of really high-quality tutorials right in the program. You have to go on YouTube or go on anywhere else on the internet to go find a tutorial. There's a help button, and you just press it, and it gives you all the tutorials you'll need to get off the ground, start designing sketches, making assemblies, which is really great for teaching new team members.
And have you
So it's
utilized any part of the cloud at all too with this?
no, we don't. Yeah, so we are looking forward to using it more this year. We've been I've been using the desktop application for more than 20 years, and so I need a little adaptation time to adapt to the cloud. But this year with the cloud storage option, we're really looking forward to using that more. I can certainly say from a mentor perspective, we're teaching new team members all the time how to use SOLIDWORKS. And the great thing is it's really, you can get kids making parts that you can print or cut or something easily. It's super easy to do. A little bit of language with the buttons and the menus and the process, but people can be making parts really quickly. And then you can build up, and of course making assemblies, and of course making a complicated assembly takes some experience, but we can build the kids up to do that. And from my perspective, that's just great, because we can get a really cool, useful useful thing in terms of working on the robot, and it's really fun to teach the teach the team members how to use it. And it's a skill that, as I've been using SOLIDWORKS for a long time, super by far, I think Marie, I'm sure, knows more, by far the most common 3D design software out there in the industry. So it's great to teach kids that then use the thing. Like when I hire interns for my professional life, tremendous interest in hiring kids that have been in FIRST and kids have used SOLIDWORKS, because I know they can come in and really help what I do professionally, very quickly. It's great.
Hey, Ken, I don't want to put you on the spot, but is there any, can you, show us any particular spots on your robot or break down any particular areas? Maybe just tell us a little about how that was designed in SOLIDWORKS or anything like that?
I think probably one of our classic features of our robots has to be our custom mechanism wheels. And we 3D print and we mold these ourselves. And of course, these were designed in SOLIDWORKS. And the way we design these is we sort of have a puck that we start out with, and we cut out the center slice, and then we are taking more chunks and chunks out to make space for these rollers. And it's all a bunch of patterns, and then we mirror the components in the assembly to give all 4 configurations of the mechanism wheel. And I think that's probably one of the really cool features of this robot. And if you want to download and print these mechanism wheels yourselves, you can find it on Thingiverse, and you can print it yourself and mold all the rollers.
That's awesome. I love that. So you guys, going from design, you went from design and then just straight to 3D printer and printing them off that way?
Yep.
That's really cool. And yeah, make sure you do check those out on Thingiverse. I love that. I've been on Thingiverse a lot lately. They've been 3D printing all day, so I think it'd be super cool to check out for that. Are there any other cool features or designs or processes that you want to go through on your robot at all?
Give me a second to think about this. Well, I think one of the other
molding, Ken? Oh, sorry, molding also, Ken.
Oh, yes, molding. Another really important part of the mechanism wheels is the custom molded rollers. You also find more molded things all around the robot, like these intake stars and wheels. And SOLIDWORKS helps us do that very easily, because we can design the shape that we really want with the star, let's say, and then in the assembly, it can automatically cut out the shape that we need in a block, so that we can more easily print it without having to think about, oh, what's the reverse of this shape? It can do it for us.
And then you mold it. Then they take silicone, 2-part silicone, and mold it in a 3D printed mold, and then you have the part on the robot. It's really cool.
Are there any lessons learned that you've learned as a student, Ken, or Tim as a mentor, even, that maybe some advice for people starting SOLIDWORKS for the first time to help them get going? What would be some advice you'd give them?
I'll go first, Ken. So I think, like Ken said, there's really great, there's tons of stuff, of course, on YouTube, but built into SOLIDWORKS, it's tutorials that really lead you through the basics of making parts and making, making assemblies. And so that's great. And the other thing that Marie pointed out, which is available within SOLIDWORKS, you can download all these files, all the parts stuff you buy from AndyMark, Rev, GoBuilda, Tetrix, any of the vendors, all that stuff, you can download the files and have them in SOLIDWORKS. And then you can make the assemblies really easily. And then you can just focus on the parts of your robot that are more custom. If you have a robot that's made mostly of, purchase components, it's super easy. And then, of course, if you have a part, like we tend to make more custom things, but you have the structure, sort of work in. So I think that's the built-in helping is really great. And I don't know, Ken, what else do you want to say?
Like deep in the settings that I really like smart mating. It makes mating and assembly so much easier. It allows me just like go like full like muscle memories. It'll find like, oh, I want two faces together. Oh, it predicts coincident, and like most of the time it's very accurate in predicting what type of mate I want with two given features, which is really convenient, and it makes producing an assembly so much faster.
Well, Marie, before we head off, if somebody is interested in getting started with SolidWorks, especially through for first, of course, it's free for teams once again. Where can they go to get started with something like that?
All right, Tyler, we're going to send them to solidworks.com/first, and we are going to ask the mentors out there to apply. If you select desktop, you don't have to worry about permissions for your children, parent permissions. You can apply, say you just want desktop, you're good to go. And we will send you a serial number for all the members of your team. Now, what happens being a very large international company, we have a lot of child protection laws. If you want to use the CAD Apps and you have members of your team that are under age 18, we have a parent permission form that needs to be signed and uploaded by the mentor for child safety. And we're very strict on this, but we will get everybody in. We will get them in the right cloud space out there and connected. And I have a great team behind me that is working with teams and the mentors, the coaches, to help them through this process. But once you get in, I'll tell you, when I brought in that full assembly, Tyler, in SolidWorks Desktop, and I pressed save to cloud, and all that data just went there, okay? I'm like, this is great.
No, that's awesome to hear. And like I said, I'm very excited to see hopefully more FTC teams start doing it. You know, I come a lot from FRC and a lot of my background, and it's very commonplace to see tons of FRC teams using SolidWorks nowadays. So FTC teams, you got to get on it. I mean, learning that not just for your robot now, but for later as well too, and preparing yourself for college and beyond. Highly encourage you to do that. Marie, thank you so much for telling us more about SolidWorks, and Tim and Ken, thank you so much for showing off your designs, talking about your processes, and of course, best of luck to you in the Power Play season as well.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you so much.
This video on First Updates Now is made possible by viewers like you and also the following sponsors. Stryker's commitment to medical device technology innovation has made it a top career destination for those in First. First alumni and mentors are given top priority in their internship and career applications. Come create the next medical innovation that saves lives at careers.stryker.com. SolidWorks brings a full suite of options that are free for first teams to download, including SolidWorks Cloud CAD Apps for any device with a browser, and SolidWorks for Windows, where you can connect SolidWorks to the cloud for collaborating and managing data. Get it all for free at solidworks.com/first. Special thanks to Team 8680 Kraken Pinion for hosting Robot in 30 Hours, and also to their sponsors.